Jake Wright left little doubt who the championship favorite is, taking the lead from Dan Guerin on the second lap and dominating the Mid-Ohio 100 for his 7th win of the season in the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment. Wright led 39 of the 42 laps, pulling away from Guerin late to win by over 17 seconds. Guerin, trying to track down Wright in the standings, started on pole and led the first laps before surrendering the lead. Guerin held off a hard-charging Adam Blocker, who completed the podium with his 3rd top 5 in 6 series starts. Andrew Kinsella held off Michael Goodman and Brian Yazik in the best battle of the race. Yazik faded late, but Goodman finished just 0.3 of a second behind Kinsella. 2 major incidents prematurely ended the race for several quick drivers. On lap 2, Michael Gray tagged the back of Ron Acker, entering the S's. Gray spun and collected Big Joe Hassert and Scott Johnson. Gray retired immediately, while Hassert limped around for 8 more laps before also parking his car. Johnson piloted his wounded DW12 to a 20th place finish. On lap 23, Dustin Wardlow, running behind after a pit road penalty, tried to pass on Joe Branch in Thunder Valley. The difficult attempt failed and the 2 banged wheels. Branch spun off the track, retiring on lap 33 and finished 21st. Several other drivers suffered from ill-handling cars or solo spins. Scott Bolster, Ed Totweiler, and David Altman, who started 5th, all retired following wrecks. Jason Galvin led a lap during the green flag pit cycles and finished 7th, the final car on the lead lap. Wardlow finished 8th with Bob Mikus and George Anzaldo rounding out the top 10. In the championship battle, Wright leads Guerin by 24 points with 6 races remaining. The Lionheart rules allow for 3 dropped point races. As a result, Wright has scored a top 10 in all 15 races counted towards the championship fight. Andrew Kinsella sits 101 points back of the lead, with Goodman 53 points back in 4th. Galvin sits 5th, 3 points ahead of James Kerhula. Engineered to win, built to last. Nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information on HPP and the product they offer, visit hppsimulation.com. And for more on the Lionheart IndyCar Series, go to lionheartracingseries.com.
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he missed the pit complete. He's crazy.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
For these drivers, it isn't about the largest purse in Lionheart history, it's about keeping the memory of Dan Weldon alive. Any one of the 42 drivers can win, but to do so, they will need speed and determination. Rookies must battle hardened veterans, and all must conquer an assortment of roads and ovals.
On the inside, can he make it stick? He loses momentum. No, he cannot make it stick. Race pulls ahead. There's nothing they touch. The winner is going to be Big Joe. No, it's Stouffer. I called it wrong. He's going to try to close the door out of pit exit, and I think he has to remove.
With the history of double-digit winners per season, the challenge will be harder than ever. Which one will ultimately be crowned Lionheart champion? You're watching the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment, the premier American open-wheel championship on iRacing, exclusively on GSRC.
Used as the traditional real-life meetup spot and considered the home track of many series members, including Brandon Limkeman and series sponsor First Medical Equipment, the Lionheart IndyCar Series comes back home to Iowa Speedway for the Berkey Trucking 125. It's round 19 of 24 on the Season 5 schedule, and all the DW12 action comes to you under the lights and live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Welcome to the Golden Cornfields of Iowa and Vaughn Hansen's Countdown to Green. Over the next 15 streamy, award-worthy minutes, GSRC will furnish you with all the storylines and all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the Berkey Trucking 125 that will immediately follow. Way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view is yours truly, Bill Soupzon, joined by Sean Crackers Ambrose. In the production van is the best director in sim race broadcasting, Amjad Yaman, armed with cameras provided by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, GSRC's own Dougie Beard. Considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara DW12 on the iRacing service, the Lionheart IndyCar Series honors the memory of the late Dan Will. Now, Crackers, Iowa Speedway is a must-go for any Lionheart IndyCar schedule, having visited each of the 4 previous seasons.
That's right, Soup, and we have 2 drivers here tonight with Iowa wins. Chris Lanini won back in Season 1. We weren't even covering those guys back then, but in Season 3, we saw a wild one that finished with George Anzaldo being one of 2 cars on the lead lap there. But folks, before I can talk about the track, let me remind you that everything on the Countdown to Green show is brought to you thanks to Von Hansen's Meat Market. Since 1983, Von Hansen's has delivered personalized, full service, and a friendly, old-fashioned meat market environment. They offer a large and ever-expanding selection of meat products and menu ideas ranging from casual gatherings to special occasions. For more information, please visit vonhansens.com. Now, folks, we are here just outside the Cornfield Iowa Speedway, Newton, Iowa. Opened in September 2006, this 7/8 mile paved oval track is just 30 miles east of Des Moines. Now, it was designed with a little bit of influence from Rusty Wallace and patterned after Richmond International Raceway. So, yeah, if it looks a little bit familiar, it is. The track was awarded the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and a nationwide series race in 2009. And, boy, the IndyCar has been rumbling around here for a little bit, too. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like is to jump on board the GSRC DW12 and take a lap around Iowa Speedway.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the Iowa Speedway in the GSRC DW12 IndyCar. Iowa, a short track, and in this car it feels like it's a super speedway. A run in the bottom here, there's a bump on the bottom as well. In the early part of the run you can get away running down there, but I'll show you what's probably going to happen later in the run. Back down here for the hot lap, find that yellow line, let it float through the middle of the corner all the way back out, and then here we go. As the run's going to progress, you're probably going to steadily see guys move up the track. There's that bump again. Really kind of upsets the car, and when you're flat out at about 170 miles an hour, it really unnerves you. Down into 3 and 4 again, a little smoother. You can kind of get a late entry and drive it a little bit more straight off the corner there. But here's what I'm talking about. You run this kind of middle groove here, and you can go down right there, and you're going to miss that bump. So as the run progresses, it might be a little bit more stable. You might see guys run up here. I mean, who knows? It could happen. I mean, you're flat out here in the gas pretty much in the early part of the run. Once again, run the middle right through here as the run progresses. A little bit faster. You're not putting as much stress on that right front tire. Off into turn 4 again. Right in the middle is going to be that sweet spot. Cutting it down just a little bit. Straight off of the corner and across the line we go. That's going to complete our very fast track guide around the Iowa Speedway in the GSRC DW12 IndyCar. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
Once around the stump, then twice across the ceiling. 8 times over is 7 miles here at Iowa. And now let's take a lap around the point standings where the numbers won't involve fractions. And they also do reflect the results after each driver gets to drop his 3 worst events. Let's look at the point leader, Jake Wright, for No Name Racing. He's got 7 wins under his belt. But this is an important point. Only 2 of those wins are on ovals. They came at Dover and Milwaukee. Another driver right behind him, Dan Guerin, he has 3 wins, but once again, 2 wins on ovals from Atlanta and the oval at Motegi. Here's another driver with 2 wins on ovals, and that's Andrew Casella for Adrenaline Motorsports. He's got his wins at Homestead and New Hampshire. Now let's talk about this rookie. Not quite as many points as Andrew Casella, but still in the hunt. Sean will talk about that a little bit later. I'm talking about AGR's Michael Goodman. He has no wins, but get this, 10 top fives. Now that is the same amount of top fives as Guerin, who has 10, and only one behind Jake Wright, who has 11. Now, the only other winners that you're going to see on that overlay, Jason Galvin, he's got one win at Texas. And then Chris Stouffer, he's another guy with a pair of wins, but both of those were on ovals, but much bigger ovals at Michigan and Pocono. All right, now it's time to look at the team championship. And to quote Jim McKay, our greatest hopes and our worst fears are seldom realized. That is not the case for that sweet old lady I met at the supermarket a little while ago, as her worst fears have indeed been realized because her beloved team, #NailedIt, has fallen out of a podium spot. AGR's Michael Goodman, Jason Galvin, and George Anzaldo finished second at Mid-Ohio to take over third. 217 points is the gap to Adrenaline Motorsports in second. All this is going on behind No Name Racing, who's comfortable out in the front. But the real fun is down in fifth, where once again Dragonfly Racing inched closer. Dustin Wardlow, Robert Bluen, and Ed King Tutwiler outscored Control Chaos 86-83 and are now only 7 points out of fifth. So Sean, how's the rookie chase look?
Let's look at those rookie standings now, Soup. And sitting at top, it's going to be Andrew Kinsella, where he's been pretty much most of the season. 54 points to the good of Michael Goodman. That could all change tonight, get a little bit closer for Goodman. Ryan Otis has slipped back to 194 points behind Otis with some missed races. And of course, the drops now come into play. Best he could do right now is just 194 points back. A lot farther back to Scott Bolster there in fourth. Dustin Wardlow, though, having a good fight to contest Bolster for that fourth spot. There in sixth, Paulson, Collins. You've got the Travis Jagerliner there in eighth. Go all the way back to the Turnbulls in 12th and 13th. Brian Greenlee there, a chance to possibly move up to ninth and get ahead of Adams. We'll see. But a good battle going on in the rookie standings up top. Nothing sealed up for Kinsella yet. Let's look at the manufacturer standings here real quick. And you're going to find at the top there, Toyota. Very strong this evening. Strong in the Cup cars. Strong in the Indy cars here. 2781 their total. Now Chevrolet knocking on the door, just 78 points back. So we still have a good battle here at the top. It's a long way back to Mazda. The Blue Oval with a chance, though, to maybe overtake the Japanese team there from Mazda. We'll see before it's all said and done with. Honda's got a long way to go. And Mercedes-Benz lurking back there, Soup, with an outside chance to maybe get to Honda. We'll see. Of course, Tesla's there at the bottom in seventh. Let's look at the Sim Money standings and wrap this up here real quick, this segment of the show. You're going to see here at the top in the money standings, Jake Wright, $2.194 million. And listen, you see the advantage he's got there. Some wins, some consistency is what it's taken to get him there at the top. Dan Guerin moving up into that second spot, $1.8 million. Kinsella there in third, 1.5. Michael Goodman just behind him there, 1.483 million and a half. And Galvin and Krahula all there at that 1.3 mark. Bob Mikas, Pierre Degla, you got to go all the way down to 10th, and Brian Otis just shy of that $1 million mark there, Sue.
Okay, as we go through those overlays, we apologize for any mix-up on the point standings. I'm pretty confident in what I was saying was the accurate number there. Might have had a little bit of an outdated overlay from the series, what they supply from the series. Sean, let's go ahead and put up the details here for the series, and the new viewers can look those over. And what we'll do, we'll talk about item number 6, as we usually do, and that is the setup. How's the open setup feel for these guys?
Oof. Soup, the setup
I apologize. First off, not open setup, the fixed setup.
The fixed setup, that's right. Yeah, and Soup, I got to tell you, it's really, really fast. We were seeing some incredible times here in qualifying alone. 16.634 right now is at the top of the leaderboard with Jake Wright. Soup, it's very, very fast. You get a really, really solid, fast run out of those tires for about 20 laps. Then they really start to kind of fall off again. The car gets very, very snappy. Gets a little bit tight on entry even. You've got to be really, really careful in traffic, Soup, because the push, it's real. It's very real here at Iowa Speedway. Guys going to have a lot of trouble managing that this evening. Risks risk abound. Your attempts will come with a big sacrifice if you fail, and you'll give up a lot of time.
Looking at qualifying going on right now, you can see Jake Wright at the top of the charts. Qualifying going to be very important, as like Sean was saying, we expect passing to be very tough. Hey, we'd be remiss, Sean, if we didn't talk about the prize money that this series offers.
Yeah, we would be remiss, wouldn't we? $1,800 in cash, with the league champion winning a $1,250 set of HPP pedals. Total cash and prizes just south of $3,500. Soup, it's there's a lot at stake here. A lot of cash and prizes, not to mention the books and the card sets and all kinds of goodies that George and the admin team over there have amassed for the competitors here in the league. Everybody's sure to walk away with a little bit of something before the season's over.
What's the weather look like?
It's a beautiful evening here at Iowa. It's partly cloudy outside, 74 degrees. It's only 74 degrees on track. There's very little wind. A good condition for horsepower, lots of it. And by the times we're seeing, I can tell you that we've definitely, in fact, here's an interesting note. The track record for qualifying has already been beaten. That qualifying time was held by Tony Lurcock with a 16.642. Well, right now in qualifying, you've got Dan Guerin at the top with a 16.589. Currently, we've got 9 drivers that have eclipsed that track record. So there you go. Records are falling.
Let's put up the for the viewers here the race details, and I want to talk about the fuel number. Now, GSRC covers over a dozen race series, and no series provides better media guides than the Lionheart race series. And now we have the commentators. How do we reward them for their efforts? Well, by one of us repeatedly questioning the validity of the numbers they provide. So now I can report that one said commenter and one Lionheart official, well, what we did, we set up a private iRacing practice session where we both parked our cars at the top of Mount Panorama, and each of us had our own real-world glass of wine and a piece of cheese and a slice of bread. And under that romantic late-afternoon simulated skies, we talked out our truths. We found it out. And the pasts are done. We are good to go. So, Sean, how do you feel about those numbers? 51 laps.
51 laps. I just don't know if we're going to get 51 laps of green flag racing. It's going to be a really tough track to pull this off on. We've got a deep field this evening. We've got 36 drivers registered to go. I think it's going to be hard to stretch it to that number. I don't think we're going to have to worry about someone needing to go 51 laps.
Got it. And qualifying is done. So as the drivers will soon be called to the HPP starting grid, let's talk about that. And when it is time to go racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations, designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulator racing. For more information, please visit www.hppsimulations.com. Let's go to the grid. And sure enough, we have Dan Guerin up in front of the rookie Michael Goodman. Sean?
All right, and in Soup, we've got on row 2, Bobby Mikas and Brandon Limkeman.
Two-time champion Jake Wright inside of row 3. Outside is Jason Robarge.
Row 4 going to be Ron Hacker, and at Rookie of the Year, leading those points, Andrew Kinsella.
Here we go. 9th and 10th is going to go to Adam Blocker and Tony Showen.
All right, and then row 6 going to be Big Joe, the Big Joe Show. 11th, the Jason Galvin, the man from KGET. 12th.
Dave Barber and Matthew Mercer, 13th and 14th.
All right, and then row 8 is going to be Brian Yazik and Joe Branch.
Who can make the sunrise? Well, it's the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow in 17th. George Anzaldo looking to pick up another win here at Iowa.
All right, row 10, 19th, Justin, Bob, and Weaver. And Woody Mahan back with us tonight, starting 20th.
Hidden Blackjack is James Kerhula in the double duck spot, Jack Bogan.
All right, Brian Greenlee. It's not easy being green. And Peter Edwins there, complete row 12.
Quarter century mark is Rory Collins and Scott Bolster.
Row 14, David Altman and Pierre Degla.
And the King Tutwiler in 29th in the Corn Star machine tonight. We'll take a look at that one a little later. Robert Bluen in 30th.
All right, 31st going to be Chris Stouffer. 32nd, Vincent Blumenthal.
Scott Johnson is registered in 33rd. Chris Lanini, Bart Workman, and Mitchell Moyer round out the 36-car field. Sean, what about onboards?
Onboards tonight, Soup. Well, listen, we got them for you. And we're going to start out with Dan Guerin and that hashtag nailed it onboard camera this evening. Team nailed it. Dan Garrett in the number 8. Dan Guerin, not Garrett. Brandon Lipkeman, the first medical onboard camera, the first medical equipment onboard camera. They are, of course, the series sponsor. Happy to be with them this evening with Brandon Lipkeman. And then we're going to Bob Mikas on board with that Lock Precision onboard camera, fly lock, and fly really safe. High in the cloud there, Sue. High in the sky.
Fly lock. And we get a full 2 pace laps here, so we don't have to hustle around. We got all our homework done for the show, so now we can have some fun. Our featured driver, our spotlighted driver today, is the man who got his only win here at this track. It's going to be George Anzaldo. We're going to follow his progress throughout the race. He qualified in 18th position. We have a nice little video that we can show you, so hopefully George can keep his car nice and clean, and we'll be able to get that in before something bad happens. But right now, all the attention is up on front of the man who sits second in the championship points. That is Dandy Dan Guerin. He is inside of the rookie who has been lurking back there waiting to get his first IndyCar Series win here in the Lionheart Series, and that is Michael Goodman. Bob Mikas and Brandon Lipkeman in the second row. Jake Wright inside of row 3. Watch for him just to take his time, feel it out. We are just about ready to go. It is round 19 of 24 here. Season 5 of the Lionheart IndyCar Series is underway. Gather up your chickens, take cover behind the cows, the horses are out of the barn, and it is Dan Guerin leading the stampede down into the first corner. Goodman, Mikas, Lipkeman, and Wright fall into the order that they qualify.
Boy, one car dropping back is Dave Barber. Really off pace here early. He's already given up 6 spots, Sue.
Track position is going to be as important as your speed right now. Let's go up to second. Stuck on the high side. That is Goodman. Making the low side work, probably trying to get this done while the tires are good. That's Bob Mikas in the Von Hansen meat machine. But he's not only, Sean, we talked about it. If you fail on the pass, not only do you not get the position, but you probably lose momentum. And that's what happened to Lipkeman.
Soup, Brian Greenlee loses it. Unfortunately, it breaks loose on him in the turn.
You know what? But I think it happened on the light blue car up in front. Oh, it was Brian. You had it, Brian Greenlee. You got it. Sorry.
Yeah. Poor Brian. That car just snapped on him. Had to take the tow. Apparently, the damage must have been significant enough. Now, Soup, they don't get any fast repairs.
Yeah, what I saw then as we look on the replay was the aftermath that also clocked the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow. So maybe after the spin, as the car goes by, Wardlow had a spin right in front of George Anzaldo. That was George in that red and black car.
So Dustin gets around too there.
Who got an eyeful of that again. He's our featured driver. Let's looking at Anzaldo in the black and red car there, the Lionheart IndyCar Series machine, and look at that.
Wow.
I think the Candyman is okay, though. I think he got away clean.
Brian Greenlee on the radio saying he's actually having failure with his equipment, a problem with his wheels, Sue.
Oh.
Yep.
That is discouraging. You put in all that practice all week long, you get here and the equipment fails on you at lap number 1.
Yeah, and we're also getting reports of a driver or two having severe connection issues here early. I won't call them out. No reason to do that at this point. They know who they are. Wow, that actually was a pretty good start there, Soup. A lot better than I expected. They were cruising there pretty well. It's a shame a little bit.
All right.
A little technical failure kind of came in there.
We're looking at some of the guys coming in. Let's take a second to get a close-up on car number 9. That is Ed Tutwiler. He has definitely the most entertaining paint schemes around. This one makes me hungry. as soon as it clears the wall there, it's some nice corn on the cob car.
That's a corn star right there, buddy.
That's it, baby.
Certified corn star.
Butter and salted and ready to race.
I tell you what, I will give Ed and his team over there at Dragonfly a lot of credit. They spend a lot of money on those vinyl wraps, buddy.
They do. And that's not plastic tip. That's a wrap there. They actually had to paint that thing. I got no feedback on my idea of putting two guys in with those spray cans for plastic dip with a bottle of Jack Daniels and see what they could. Two different colors. I think that would look really cool. All right, our leader right now is still Dan Guerin. Looks like nobody is going to bite for a pit stop, although everybody stays out of consequence.
Yeah, we had several cars at the back go for a pit stop, but like you said, anybody of any real consequence, at least the top 27, all stayed out on track.
Dave Barber, the guitar playing accountant, was apologizing for something. I didn't see what he actually did.
I think he might have been apologizing for his shortcomings as a guitar player.
It could
possibly
be. It's just
maybe,
simply for being a guitar player.
player.
My wife told me to stop it. I've been really good. Also, I would like to announce that I'm going through this race cliche-free. Gather up your chickens. That does not count. That's that one they give me for free. But I'm going through.
That's a given, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see if I can goad you into one or two before the night's over.
Not going to happen. Drivers are all looking to have the perfect race commentator, looking to have a perfect broadcast. 12 strikes in a row, 300 game. 27 up, 27 down if you're in baseball. We are working lap number, the pace car's on lap 0. We're working lap number 8.
So a few of the guys rolling with a couple of new nicknames tonight. Dan Guerin being one of them, I believe, goes by Little Air Filter now. So little Facebook
air filter. Okay.
Yeah, a little Facebook thing we had going. Your rapper name is the word Lil, short for little, and whatever car part you changed last. So let you folks all have some fun with that. But Dan is Little Air Filter.
Help me out there, Sean. Take a look at that car. What color is it? Is that like a pink? Is that like purple and pink up there with some yellow trim? What color is that?
Dan is got it's a pink base with blue on the wings and on the cowling there, and a green, green, like a green highlighter through the middle.
Well, I think it's fabulous. And right now we are going green, and Mr. Fabulous is taking him down into the first corner. Dan Guerin, Michael Goodman behind him, Lincoln in third, Bob Micas. Oh, Micas being challenged. Here comes the two-time champion, Jake Wright on the inside. This is a battle for fourth. I believe the champion's going to get this. Let's see how this plays out. Can you make the inside work, or does the momentum on the top side play out? They continue side by side. It looks like Wright's going to get it, but fighting back is Micas. And now on the top behind him, that's Andrew Casella getting into 6th as he gets around Rabarge. But meanwhile, up in front, they continue to race two side by side. Wright not able to finish the job.
No, not quite. Dan already got some traffic in front of him here. Mitchell Moeller, they'll be closing on him pretty quick. Looking out back here, you see Michael Goodman chasing. Love that pink on the car. Of course, this is October, and it's, they've changed it now. It's gone to really like Cancer Awareness Month. All different forms of cancer.
I got it.
But I believe Dan is actually supporting breast cancer. In fact, I'm almost pretty sure he had said something to me about that. But it's a lot of the cars. Oh, and now we got a caution. Somebody's in trouble.
Oh, it's Jack Bogan is upside down. Getting him was, Dave Barber. Barber spun first. Bogan with nowhere to go.
Boy, and a lot of cars. A lot of cars got collected in that soup. Scott Bolster was one of them. Jeez. I hadn't even gotten to his nickname yet. Scott and the Skull Bandit. He got hit really hard in that.
Dustin Weaver also. Oh my goodness. Dustin Weaver Yeah, it really went on. Got into Dagla and Bluthenthal were involved. The aftermath of this was severe.
Let's go on board Eddie Tutwiler here and see what he saw.
Here we come up. Now you can see that then it was a matter of getting through. Look at Tutwiler. I think he does a pretty good job. He makes it.
Yeah, he's able to weed through that. Like I said, though, several cars with some heavy damage. Pierre Deglo, definitely one of them. Soup, you mentioned him. On the pit lane, the front nose is gone. The rear wing is damaged. Surely that car will be in for extensive repairs. May not even be able to get it back out on track. Very, very tough break for Pierre here early.
Well, he'll try his best, but don't call him Shirley. That all started with Dave Barber and Jack Bogan, and then Weaver, Dagla all got into it as well.
Well, Sue, that's a little bit of attrition early here. A few too many cars wrapped up in that one. It was really all about the checkup there. Guys just trying to get out of the way. And, boy, this being the very fast track it is, not a lot of rubber laid down yet. Grip certainly not at a maximum here by any means, and everybody went sliding.
Lights are still on the pace car as they work the way around. Maybe our director, let's go ahead and get this out of the way so I don't have to worry about it. Can we bring up the last chance bracket if we can? If that's available, we'll talk about that one. Caught the director by surprise.
Way to go,
And there it is coming up right there. And what we'll do is talk. This is something special that we do. And, of course, this is a special thing that we do. And it was also there to keep Patrick Taylor's memory alive. 8 drivers are left. All the top seeds are winning so far. And you can see that those drivers are Jake Wright, Dan Guerin, Andrew Kinsella, and Goodman. Now, for the rest of those guys to advance, Otis, who I not believe is here today, he needs to win, so that's not going to happen. So let's move right along. Galvin must win or finish second and be ahead of Guerin. That's a tough order. Michael Gray must finish 4th or better and ahead of Kinsella. That's going to be a tough order as well. And Krahula must finish 5th or better and ahead of Goodman. So my gut tells me that we're going to be chalk because we're going to get the top 4 seeds all the way over to the final 4. There you have it, something we'll keep an eye on.
All right, Soup, something I'm keeping an eye on myself right now, okay? Your top 19 drivers right now, Ed Tutwiler being in that 19th spot, have not taken a pit. Fall back to 20th place, and Bart Workman, he's our biggest mover of the race. He's been in twice, and he's up 15 spots, already come from 35th into the top 20. Bart Workman, well, Soup, he's putting in the work.
Putting in the work. He did not come in this time, though. Some of the guys who actually came in this time that are out there, Stouffer is out there. He's the top name of the guys who just came in now. Is he still on the lead lap? He sure is. And remember, Stouffer already has 2 oval wins under his belt so far this season. Just a sleeper back there in 23rd right now.
Well, I have been assured that we are going to see something, how was it Pierre said? I think something exciting will happen tonight, I think is what he said. Something different.
Okay. So under the lights here in Iowa, they are working lap number 18. We've had 2 caution flags so far. Don't worry, fans. What often happens, we get these yellows out of the way early, and then there's a reputation for running the back half of the race under green. And Sean, without any of the leaders coming in, it just kind of gives us ups the odds on maybe a green flag pit stop. Again, track position, Guerin just can't afford to come in and give up all those spots. He's got to stay out in front as long as he can. Pace car pulls in. Dan Guerin under the gun gets the jump. Goodman and Lincoln duck into 2nd and 3rd. Micah's in 4th, and 5th place is Kinsella. Jake Wright now has fallen back to 6th. Remember, we saw him get all the way up to 4th. Oh my, look at this. As Now trying to make the low side work is Bob Mikas. And again, the pass fails. He loses a position to Kinsella and becomes under challenge from right. Well, I don't know what it's like back in the pack, but up here for third and fourth position, it is intense.
It's nuts back in the pack, Soup. Woody Mahan coming through the field quick. He's already up to 16th place, chasing George Anzalo right now. Woody going to have to hang on to the connection. It just blinked on me on screen. He's being followed by Matthew Mercer. These three back here fighting for those spots. Just in front of them is Adam Blocker, who's down 5 spots right now. Blocker having trouble hanging on because the battle in front of him is intense with Brian Yazik trying to take away this position from Joe Branch, get himself into 12th place. Yazik trying to get it done from the outside from that HPP DD12.
We can look at that. This report that the two drivers out in front pulling away, they're not fighting each other. Guerin and Goodman put it in good times. And the interval from first to our first car that is 1 lap down is only 8 seconds. They're going to be lapping cars pretty darn quick. That's the car that's 1 lap down, on the lead lap, 29 drivers. We still have about 30, 31, 32 drivers still out there.
Yeah, even with a little bit of attrition we've still got a very, very big field here on track. Won't be long before some of these guys in the back start getting caught. Soup, George Anzalo having a tremendous fight right now with Woody Mahan. I know we talked about Woody just a moment ago. Woody running a special paint scheme this evening, an old Al Unser paint scheme. The Johnny Lightning 500 car back on track.
But check my trivia. I'm going to say 1971. We have a spin. It's up in front. It is Stouffer. Stouffer then comes across and collects Ed King Tutwiler in the Cornstar machine. Now, it started, I think, with him getting into the Candyman. That's Dustin Wardlow that's going to survive that.
Yeah, it was him and Workman that actually got together, Soup.
Yeah, you're right. It was indeed.
And it was Stouffer coming across the track that's going to collect Ed Tutwiler here. Oh, boy.
And from my view, I hate to say this because it kind of takes the fun out of it, but it looked like a little bit of netcode there, about 6 inches worth of netcode.
Yeah, possibly, Soup. And, well, all right. So, guess we should go ahead and throw this out here. Our netcode disclaimer. What do you think, Soup? You want to take a break first, and then we'll come back and go over netcode?
I don't think it's that good of a cliffhanger. Let's get it out of the way.
Netcode is a blanket term for anything that somehow relates to networking and online games. Netcode is a term most commonly used by gamers when discussing synchronization issues between clients and servers. There you go, folks.
We need to put that to music for you. We need to have like a little netcode jingle we can play. Okay, what we're going to do now is take a short break, and we'll be back before they go green. Don't go far. Presented by First Medical Equipment. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series Berkey Trucking 125 from Iowa Speedway. Sean, we kind of have two races going on now, don't we?
Well, we do, Soup. Now, right now, your top six, led by Dan Guerin, they did not come in for a stop. They favored track position here in this run, and they still remain on track. Now, you go back to David Altman, who's on his own little strategy right now. David came in at the last pit stop, sits there in seventh, but now everybody behind him just came in. Andrew Kinsella leads that group. Big Joe Hassert right behind him, Jason Robards, Jason Galvin, all in that mix as we get restarted here in the Berkey Trucking 125.
This will be interesting. Not only do we have different strategies, but now we'll see how fresh tires compare to a really fast driver on 32 lap old tires. We're under green. Dan Guerin out in front, Goodman, Limkeman, Mike is being challenged underneath by Jake Wright. Those guys have been going at it a lot. Looks like Jake Wright is going to get this one this time. Fourth position. Mike is back to fifth. Then Hacker. He is on that stop as well. Those long run going on with 33 lap old tires. Let's see how the new guys are going. Kinsella has made short work of Altman, as has Big Joe Hassert. Keep an eye on the driver in seventh. Here comes Andrew Kinsella with fresh rubber.
Boy, and there was almost contact there with Altman and Hassert. That was really, really close. Now Jason Galvin right behind Altman, going to have to try and find his way around. Got a very fast charging Jason Robards there. What is it, Sue?
Ed Tutwiler is that reason. I believe it happening right now.
Yeah, more trouble for Eddie. Oh, man.
But no yellow.
He spins it, puts it right into the wall, and then has to take a toe out. Oh, what a mess there for Ed. Hate to see that.
It kind of turned into cream corn.
Oh. Or cracked corn, maybe?
Cracked corn. That's even better. All right. Kinsella in seventh has not been able to run down the top guys yet. Look at that Dougie Beer camera angle as they come right at you. Now we look at Have a Catch. He's got Big Joe behind him. Have a Catch in that blue and black colored car, a little darker colored car. Oh, underneath him though, here comes the Big Joe show. The Arctic Cat. They're working on Ron Hacker.
Man, oh, Woody Mahan and George Gonzalo just made a little bit of contact. Neither one suffered any damage. I think we've got a replay of it here. Let's look at it real quick. You're going to see Woody gets right up in front of George here on the back. I think it was on the back stretch. George comes right up on him. Woody kind of closes the door, and those two almost make some really...
Dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. Wait.
Brandon Limkeman has made his way around Michael Goodman, so the Fire and Ice Machine now racing in second. Uh-oh. That's Goodman. Oh, it's Goodman and Micah's get together. Everybody else gets around them. Oh, my.
I think Jake Wright caught some of that too, Soup.
Those are some big names.
I think getting by. This is a tough one to call here, Soup. I don't know if Bob started to maybe turn down a little bit soon, or if Michael maybe drifted up a little bit. This one's going to be a little bit too close to call, I think, buddy.
Goodman took the blame. And yeah, I think Jake did get a piece of it. You'll see he's third to the incident. The two cars will get together. This will give you a good view of whether Goodman drifts up. Yeah, Goodman apologized, and I'd have to maybe say that was probably, you're racing so close. My dad used to say you're not going to, no cliches. You're not racing, racing is tough. There we go, that's not a cliche. Oh man, that almost got me.
I think Mike was just being nice. He hasn't looked at a replay yet. I think when they both look at that, I think they'll both see it was pretty close. They probably call it either way, but a shame Some big names affected by that there. Mike Goodman, of course, fighting for that rookie championship. Didn't need to get involved in that.
All right, now here's David Altman. If you take a look at him, he's going to come into the pits. He was on that different pit strategy, and all those other guys that were on that strategy now have come in. So, my goodness, that's going to move Guerin and all those guys way down the list. James Krahula says must sound like that he has some issues as well.
Yeah, there were several drivers that got caught up in the back end of that soup. Again, trying to slow down, check up, and get out of the way. And a couple cars back there got collected. Krahula, one of them, doesn't think he's going to be able to. Doesn't think he's going to be able to steer the car. Let's look at the replay here real quick, James.
All
Krahula.
right. Some big names involved in that incident. Goodman and Wright.
Krahula there in the Patriot Fire Cup TW12, the white car with the red stripe down the center.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, that was just avoiding the issue.
Yeah, and he slaps it against the wall pretty good there at the very end, and I think that's the issue he's having with the steering right now on it. And you know, we got some sad news from Dave Barber during that last caution flag there, Soup.
Sad indeed, as we are sad to report that the guitar playing accountant is now simply an accountant, as he has left the Flaming O's, and he is going to turn that over to a different guitar player. So we'll miss him, Dave. We enjoyed it while it lasted, and I can no longer say good with the axe, good with the tax.
You know what? I'm sure, like a true guitar player, I'm sure there is one sitting somewhere not far from him, and he spends a lot of his time noodling. Nothing there, Soup, for me?
I heard you. I was just checking some stuff there. I didn't.
Gonna leave you hang on that?
No, I feel handcuffed with my no cliche proclamation at the beginning of the race.
I personally think that maybe wasn't a good decision, but I'll keep trying here, Soup. I'll keep trying.
Okay. Let's go ahead and set the stage for you now. It is Andrew Kinsella, Big Joe Hazard, and Jason Galvin. They run 1, 2, 3 up front. And we look down here. It's the top 10 drivers, goes all the way down to the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, who are on this pit strategy. And Guerin in 11th.
And Soup, all these guys have come from pretty far back to be up here in the top 10. They're all movers in this field. Here we go.
We are working lap number 46 right now. It'll be 47 once they cross the line. And for the first time tonight, I get to say a different driver leading them down into the first corner. It is Andrew Havakech Kinsella, the rookie. 2 wins under his belt. He got one in the opening round, then had to wait for a long time to get his next one, but right now he is out in front. The man from Bakersfield, Jason Galvin, makes a move on Big Joe Hazard, takes over second spot. Oh my goodness, back in about 8th. They are 3 wide. The car out in front that has a wall coming at him is the blue car of Adam Blocker. He tries not to be a blocker as the... My gosh, they are flying at him in formation.
Yeah, they are, and it's teammates right next to each other, just behind them, Gonzalo and Robar's there. Gonzalo getting ahead. Robar's going to let him have it here, up in 6th place.
Guerin back there in 10th. That can't be what he likes to see, as it's a wild chaos in front of him. I'm looking at 8th position. This is Peter Edwards. 3 wide on the top side is Mercer. Down below is Dandy Dan. Careful, boys. Dandy Dan is able to make it work as they go 2 wide, and now with momentum coming out of there is the red and white machine. Jake Wright making a move now in the number 1 car. Holy moly. 8th place, Edwin, Darren, Wardlow, Mercer, right out on the top side. The yellow car in that battle, that's Joe Branch.
And Big Joe Hassert just made a bold move on the outside around Jason Galvin. Now he's getting a run at Kinsella.
Up front, Kinsella, Hassard, and Galvin. There's about a second difference back to Blocker. Things have settled down a little bit from him. Blocker, Showen, and Zaldo racing 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is Robarge. But I can report that Dan Guerin has cleared the mess that was in front of him now as he races in 8th.
You know, Soup, Big Joe Hassert finished 2nd in this race last year. Boy, he doesn't want to be a bridesmaid this time. The Big Joe show is in action tonight, and it's hot.
Let's see where Kinsella puts the car, trying to take his half right out of the middle right now. Big Joe looking for a way around. And all that figuring out what's going on. Look at the run that the Bakersfield man gets Jason Galvin back there in that KGET machine, his familiar blue and gold colors. I correct myself. He doesn't have KGET on there. It is the plastic dip car now. Oh, on the wing. Okay, we can see it on the wing there. All right.
Pete Enwins just had trouble. Man, Pete had made contact with Dustin Wardlow, slid up into the wall, slid across the track in front of cars. Watch this on the replay.
Oh, he kept it more netcode, kept it going straight. That's Jake Wright that almost gets into him. Woo!
That's 2 close calls for Jake. And it takes Pete a long time to get going again, Soup. Crawling down there on the bottom of the track right now.
That's the downside of using that strategy that puts you back in the back of the pack. You have to deal with all that nonsense. Nothing that Kinsella has to worry about right now. Kinsella out in front. Oh, my goodness. Jason Galvin almost got up in the wall. It's okay. We don't need to go there, but Galvin got right in behind Joe Hassard. You talked about the push being real, and I think Galvin would attest to that.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to see that all night. If you can't pull that move off, you're going to lose time because you can't control the car.
And I think, really, with passing being so tough, that I think just track position, we've talked about it. Let's look right now at George Anzaldo. Now, Anzaldo is out there on older tires. He's been racing for 32 laps. He's got Dan Guerin behind him. First of all, Guerin qualified 17 spots ahead of Anzaldo. Edison on fresher rubber. And right now, Guerin has his handful trying to get around Anzaldo.
Yeah, he does. And this is what he's got to do. He's got to keep it down there to the bottom, stay out of the wake of Anzaldo, and get these clean runs at him on the front straightaway, and then again, get out of the wash right there. You see Guerin's car running right up to the top of the track. He's got to pull it down off the wall. George had to check up himself, and that's going to cost him. George fighting back at the top, but look at the momentum there.
He can't finish the job. Anzaldo had a horrible checkoff, lost all of his momentum. You would think that Guerin would be able to get there. That says a lot, fans, right now. You want to be out in front.
Yeah, and when you have a chance to finish these runs at someone, to complete them and finish them, you've got to get it. Got to get it done.
And Sean, what that means to me is I'm going to count backwards from, what are we going, 143 here today? I'm going to count backwards at 51 laps. Look for me to come in somewhere around 90, take my stop, hopefully under yellow, and then just stay out there and try to hold position. Here comes Kinsella now on the back of Michael Goodman. This is a pass being lapped. 24 cars on the lead lap. I believe Goodman is the only car racing. Everybody else is in the pits. Only car racing not on the lead lap. That is Michael Goodman.
Man, Dan Guerin losing spots again. Wardlow coming around. Dan had taken another run at George Anzaldo, and all the time, here comes Wardlow, though. Jeez. Wardlow just on a rail. Comes flying through there and gets by George Anzaldo.
We talked about it before. That's the Candyman saying, Dandy Dan, that's how you do it. Wasn't so hard. Dan Guerin back there. So let's see, what is Wardlow's strategy? Is he on the same, I bet you he probably is, on the same pit cycle as Guerin is. No, he's on old tires. Guerin, Limkeman, Branch are the guys on the new tires. Oh, Robarch had a rough, really slow. He's got it back up to speed now. Racing in 14th position.
Wow, still some big movers though up in the top 10. You see Wardlow up there in 5th. He started 17th. So George Gonzalo in 7th. He started 18th. We chronicled his run battle for 10th here though. Jake Wright taking it away from Joe Branch. Yes, I think he completes the pass there.
The Pennzoil car looking down low. Now we'll go look at P3.
No lead is safe here.
Here comes Dustin Wardlow. He's got that car working. Now that's the lap car up on top of Adam Blocker.
Nope, Blocker there in 3rd. Oh boy.
Galvin's in trouble. That's Galvin in the wall.
Yeah, that was Galvin. Blocker gets under him. Galvin goes into the wall, and boy, what a tank slapper for him. That's big damage on the right side for Galvin. Watch this here. You're going to see Blocker come around the outside. Down in front. Well, we missed that. I'm sorry, I missed that part of it. There's Blocker, goes by the blue car.
And let me correct myself on that. Blocker is not a lap down.
Yeah, Blocker very much in this.
I got him confused with the other rookie, Michael Goodman. Blocker right in the mix.
Yeah. Oh, Robarge loses it in turn 4. Oh, and he's spinning heavy right now.
Got tipped by Scott Johnson. Uh-oh, is he rolling here?
I believe this is what we call the death
Oh,
spiral.
no, put the hammer in the oven because the camel has learned to read. This is something that you just won't understand. They're telling me that counts. I guess it does. I let one out. Okay. Well, come on. The guy's in a death spiral. If that doesn't call for a cliche, what does? There you go. Jason Robarge just spinning and a spinning. Whee! And now we're back live, and he's
it's
all about inertia, baby.
See, the problem is he could stand to get disqualified from the race here, and
James Krahula is now quoting the commentator. I think this is called an Euler's disc, I believe. It's one of those discs that you put down and it'll spin forever.
And there he goes.
There he goes. All right.
He put us all out of our misery there. Jeez, what a tough break for Jason.
Okay, Kinsella is in. All those guys up front have come in. Mitchell Moeller going to stay out. Rory Collins going to stay out. I like this.
Battle there out of the pits. You saw Yazik side by side fighting for that that position there to the stripe. But it will be Mitchell Moeller going to the lead now.
Okay, now he's out there on 38 lap old tires.
Yeah.
Stay out there, Mitchell.
Him and Rory Collins both electing to stay on tracksuit.
Everybody else, all cycles now onto the same strategy. But look what has happened. Guerin and Wright, those guys were up front. Limkeman, those guys who are good qualifiers, they're now back in, what would that be, 9th, 10th, and 11th. That worked out great for those guys. Andrew Kinsella, Big Joe Hassard, the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow. Sean, what do we got?
Why don't we look at our lock precision driver of the week here. And let's talk about George Anzaldo. 86 starts. Of course, George, the founder chief Indian in charge around here. One pole in his career, that was in season 4, last season here at Iowa. Following up his one win, which came here at Iowa in season 3, an amazing win that saw him win a battle of attrition like none I've ever seen. 6 top 5s, 17 top 10s, and his first race was back in season 1 at Michigan. But George, listen, an all-time favorite, one of the truly nice guys here, and we appreciate all the contributions he's made, and trust me, the list is long and heavy with the number of contributions George has made towards this league and keeping her up and running. We're certainly happy to be here and broadcasting this race for him and the rest of the league. And George, in the middle of a pretty good season. You know, I will say this, though, being the chief administrator of a league and being a driver in that same league, Soup, you have some experience with this too. That's a pretty tough ask, man. It really, really is.
Well, it helps if you're the 10th cleanest driver out there. He has an average incident per race, 2.29. That's pretty good for a full-time driver. Who do you think our cleanest driver is in this series, Sean? It won't be a hard guess. Take a guess.
I think it's Jake Wright, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not even close. Yeah, he's something else. He's got an ERA of 0.89.
Yeah, that's it's pretty good stuff, man.
That's closer stuff right there. Talking about Jake Wright, right now he races in 8th position. He's your points leader. Brandon Limpkeman out there in the Fire and Ice Machine in 7th. Remember, these guys all qualified well. Our pole sitter, Dan Guerin, in 9th. But right now, it's our top rookie, Andrew Have-A-Catch Kinsella, out there in front, ahead of veteran Big Joe Hassard and the Candyman, Dustin Wardle. And we say that one more time. Oh, we had a pit.
Moeller pitted right there. Yeah, he was up there, of course, and he decided to take his pit and
got it.
Works his way now back to 20th spot, Soup.
As did Collins, but right now we go green. And Andrew Kinsella, for the second time, leads them to the quarter number 1, coming out of yellow. Kinsella, Hassard, Wardlow, and Zalda. So everybody now on the same strategy. It's a brand new, fresh start.
Boy, Dan Guerin, Tony Schowen, Brandon Limpkeman, Jake Wright, all trying to make it 3 wide back here, looking for the same piece of real estate. I think that's Joe Branch there, following them up in the yellow Pennzoil machine. This is intense. Everybody fighting.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to go on board the Fire and Ice Machine. Sean, tell me what you think for Brandon Limpkeman here.
I think he's calling for a code brown right about now. Just really, really close racing as we all get restarted and get back up to speed. Yeah. Love that onboard First Medical Equipment onboard camera there, bringing it to you.
It's all about strategy, and right now it's Kinsella and Big Joe Hassard starting to gap the rest of the field. I think George Anzaldo, now he's in a battle. We drop back to 3rd. He's in a real battle with Wardlow back there. Blocker in the blue car watching it all. And this is where Guerin and Wright have got to be saying, how did we get ourselves in this position? Wright racing in 6th, Guerin in 8th.
Boy, George really likes this track, Soup. I think that's a big understatement. George running the pink wheels on his Lionheart IndyCar Series DW12 there.
Uh-oh. Jason Galvin, I'm hearing. He's looped it around. He slapped it in on the passenger side if there was a passenger. Was this going to bring out the yellow? I have no idea why it... Yes, it does.
It does, Soup. And it was poor Jason all by himself. Really still hadn't recovered from that damage he took before. The car just not right. He's going to slide and spin it around and going to tank slap the other side of it now. And surely that boy has to sit up there and let everybody get by. Great job by Galvin, but it winds up in a tow.
All right, listen to me now. The numbers that the Lionheart series was so kind to provide to the commentators was 51 laps on a stint for fuel. We are on lap 90 right now. You add 51 to that, that gets you to lap 141. I like these guys who are coming in. This is our final stop. This is Kinsella coming in. He's done.
You're going to call it, you think it's the final one, huh?
Yep. Kinsella liked being out front. What he is going to do is he's going to try to be the leader of this group that's coming into pit. That's all he cares about right now. And he's going to stay out.
I like the call, Soup. I do. Jake Wright's going with it, too. He's in there, coming out of his stop. Kinsella going to get out first, though. Kinsella is out, and Zaldo right behind him.
What we'll do right now is we'll take a short break. We'll be back before we go green for the final 50 laps. Back in a few. Presented by First Medical Equipment. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series Berkey Trucking 125 from Iowa Speedway. Sean, we got about 7 cars out in front that didn't pit. Everybody else, I think, might be good to go.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'd be a real stretch for these top 7 to make it on their current fuel load. We'll see here as we get restarted into Berkey 125.
Big Joe Hassard is going to lead them down for the first time into the first corner. Now here's who's following him. Dustin Wardlow, Adam Blocker, Brandon Limpkin. These guys are all on light fuel. Tony Schowen and Dan Garrett. The last car on this strategy is Hacker. Hacker has already lost a position. Then, Sean, there is the battle between the second group, and right now, that's led by George Anzaldo. These are the guys who I think will go the distance.
Yeah, Anzaldo trying to pick up a position here now. Got Jake Wright there on his tail.
Anzaldo and Wright. Yasik in there as well. I can report that James Krahula is racing in 21st position, still on the lead lap, even though he must be paying his pit crew by the hour and not by the pit stop, as he's taken 11 of them, as he wants to get his money's worth. Lead change up front. And oh my goodness, that was Dustin Wardlow after he made the pass. Got a little bit of a help from Big Joe Hassard.
I do think he got a hand there.
Spins off into the grass, so he's off the racing line, so iRacing won't throw the yellow. This is kind of a slide job with a bump at the end.
Well, here's the good news. Wardlow is going again. Doesn't appear to have any damage on his DW12.
Oh, let's go back to 5th position. The blue car of Blocker was really slow. Kinsella getting underneath him. Guerin has already made the move around him.
Boy, and Showen tried to take a run at him and had to get out of it because the push was real. Now here comes Anzaldo. Right there, Jake Wright still following him. Ron Hacker in that mix. Showen looking over his shoulder here, got an angry horde behind him.
If the betting window is still open, run to it right now and put some money down on Andrew Kinsella. I think he's in the catbird seat, racing in 4th position. We look at this battle. Now we go up to Kinsella. He's fast. I think he can go the distance from here. I think the guys in front of him, if they don't have to stop, they're going to be on much older rubber. Let's go up to the lead. This is the Fire and Ice Machine of Brandon Limkeman, looking all over the back of Big Joe Hassard. Not going to happen yet. Dan Guerin, the pole sitter, sitting in 3rd. Here comes Kinsella in 4th.
You know, Limkeman had a very strong showing last year, starting on the inside of the second row. Led 16 laps in this race. Could he be a first-time winner here tonight?
How about we go back to 8th real quick? This is Jake Wright trying to get underneath George Anzaldo. He ducks his nose down there, but then the top side, that red-black car of the Lionheart car of Anzaldo has nothing of it, and he gets it right back. Look at the momentum now from Brian Yazik on the top side.
Yeah, and you know what? George keeps running his line, and he keeps beating Jake with that line every time, but here comes Yazik now. Yazik seems to have found a little something in that HPP DW12.
Right.
Anzaldo having a great drive here so far,
Paying a horrible price. In fact, something might be wrong with Wright as he is getting passed now by car after car. Joe Branch ducks underneath Jake Wright. Yes, he made a failed attempt up on Anzaldo, but my gosh, he lost a position to Yazik, to Mahan, to Branch. Your points champion falling down into 12th. Two-time champion points leader. And now up front, we have an interesting situation. We have Big Joe Hassard coming up behind Dustin Wardlow. Wardlow, the last car on the lead lap. Remember, it was just a few laps ago. We saw the Candyman spinning through the grass. Got back out there, still on the lead lap, but this is going to be interesting because I don't think Wardlow has any damage, and I think he's going to be fast. I think he's going to be a pain to get around.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think he's going to be a pain to be around.
Looking
Battle
at P2
second here, not not for the faint of heart. Brandon Lipke trying to hold off.
These guys are on their 34th lap of racing. Yes, a few of that was under green, under yellow for that caution. 31 to go. That means they would have to go 65 laps on a stint. Looking back at this battle now for third position, my goodness, that was close. It is second, yes. Garrett gets around Limkeman, yeah.
George just has, not George, Soup. Boy, I'm all over the place. Soup, this has absolutely nothing to do with the racing that's going on track, but in the words of the great John Sterling, duh, Yankees win. Yankees win. So there we go.
For those of you watching years later, it's the 2017 playoffs.
Move on to face the Astros, the Houston Astros in the American League Championship Series. There we go.
That doesn't seem right to me. What are they doing in the American League? Meanwhile, let's talk about Dustin Wardlow. We talked about it. Not only is he hard to pass, he's actually pulled away from Big Joe Hazard.
Yeah, and you know what? The benefactor of this clean air right now, nobody in front of him to have to deal with Dustin, able to show the speed in that DW12, not having to worry about driving in the wake of any of his competitors. He is the fastest car on the track right now. Hazard cannot get to him. All Dustin needs right now is the help of a caution flag.
Kinsella tried to get underneath for a position for third. I hope he comes in and talks to us. I'd be wondering right now if he's worried about his position or if he feels confident that everybody ahead of him is going to have to come in. The way he's racing, it almost seems like he feels like he's got to get up there because he's scared these guys might be able to go 66 laps on a stint. Remember, I did go to that romantic Mount Panorama lunch with some of the series officials. They said 51 laps is as far as you can go.
Soup.
It's only an estimate.
Jake Wright just got another run at George Gonzalo. Guess what happened? He couldn't pull it off. And he hasn't lost any time yet. As he's staying up to the top side, going to try and keep that momentum with Gonzalo. He does. Looking to make that, and he's going to stay right there. That's not a bad spot to be where he's at. The car does not push. You saw that. Able to stay right there with Gonzalo.
Now, those guys are all on the same strategy as Kinsella. They can easily go. So is Yazik back there in that mix as well. Look at the car behind just making a pass. That's Scott Johnson. All this going on. Sean, you see how far we have to go?
Brother, I certainly do. 20 laps. I can't believe it. It's time to boogie. We're dropping that disco ball down out of the sky. Let's get this party going, buddy. Right to the checkers.
Put on your dancing shoes. Big Joe Hazard out there in front, 1.2 seconds.
I'm ready to dance all night, baby. I may not go to sleep tonight. We're going to be partying here in New York tonight.
P4. This is Blocker on the top side in that dark blue car. Kinsella underneath. Yeah. Kinsella's going to lose that spot. It might be academic, as we think Blocker is going to have to make a stop.
Yeah, I don't think these guys are going to be able to make it, Soup. I really don't. I mean, we said 15 was the window. Again, are we certain about any of this? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, if you go back, we look at the battle for P2. Remember what Chris Lanini did last race, where he went an incredible distance.
And Limkeman really driving hard for that first win. Big Joe Hazard's not gotten away with anything here at this point. He's only a second up the road.
Okay, Sean, these are fixed setups, so they don't get to play with the fuel mix, right? So if they have to save fuel, they got to do it the old-fashioned way, right? With the right foot?
They got to do it with the right foot, with the transmission, with the clutch.
Yeah, I would think an indication on fuel would be how fast Guerin is going right now. He just turned into 17.3. That's pretty darn fast compared to everybody else. Yeah, look at this.
Limkeman's got him. Opening the door also for Blocker. Dan going to charge back at him, but got nothing. Limkeman pulls off that pass clean, drops down to the bottom where the grip is at. able to pull away just a little bit from Dan Guerin. Now Dan's got to worry about blocker there.
Uh-oh, I heard it's a George Anzaldo spanks it off the wall. We might want to get this one. He's going to lose positions.
Oh, and he almost wipes out Jake Wright in the process. Oh, that could have ended very badly.
Kept it going straight.
That is 3 incidents that Jake Wright has avoided this evening, Soup.
Look at this. We're right on board with the 2-time champion.
No fault of George's here. He gets shot off that wall right into Jake Wright. Jake somehow hangs on to it. The guy is truly amazing, Soup.
Big Joe Hassard comes across the line. 10 to go. 7/10 of a mile. Or, sorry, 7/8 of a mile.
Hey, you know what? Jake Wright is an insurance company's dream. Should we start calling him Jake from State Farm?
Boy, he is good.
I mean, the lack of contact and incidents for that guy, I mean, never going to have to pay a claim on him.
9 laps to go for Big
here they
Joe
come.
Hassard.
Limkabid's in. Limkabid's in. Yeah, they're coming in. I just heard... Yeah, here comes Dan Guerin. I just heard Dan get on the radio. He's
Guerin
in.
is in. Back it up, Joe. Big Joe just said something. My guess is he's coming in.
He's coming in.
Where was the yellow when you needed it? The
No
rookie,
kidding.
Adam Blocker, staying out. But he's due any time. Just to let you know, 58 laps was the distance. Close enough to 51 in this commentator's book.
Yes.
Tony Schowen is due in next as his blocker. So that puts our attention on Kinsella. Where is Kinsella in relationship to Jake Wright? He's got quite a gap.
Kinsella coming through turn 2 now on the exit down the back stretch. Goes back to the lead of this race. He's got a 1.7 second lead on Jake Wright.
Wright is in a 3-car battle. He's in second. That's Guerin coming out of the pits. He really isn't involved. That's Guerin and Wardlow. As we have the pitters coming out, they are getting crushed as they are all falling more than a lap down. Meanwhile, Andrew Kinsella has 5 to go. He has passed the point of no return. If there was a yellow, he can bring it home. Kinsella having a great race. It's been said that inside each and every one of us is that one pure, true, authentic race. Something we all were born with. Something that's ours and ours alone. Something that can't be taught to you, that can't be learned. It has to be remembered.
So, did we ever talk about Scott Johnson this evening?
Wait, and we have a pass up front. This is for the read. Jake Wright from out of nowhere. Where did he come from? They had the car of Tony Schowen. I was going into my Bagger Vance. I thought this was all over. From the back, it is Jake Wright. White flag lap is out.
And Kinsella having big trouble.
From nowhere, Jake Wright wins at Iowa.
I quit. He just keeps continuing to amaze all of us. Coming from all the way downtown to pick up that win. How about your top 3, though? Kinsella finishes second. Brian Yazik with a 3rd place finish on the podium. And Scott Johnson, who I tried to mention there, Soup, he's going to come home 4th. Scott started in 33rd this evening. I don't think we talked about the poor guy once. What a race.
Speechless.
Yeah.
Mama, cover my eyes. I've seen enough to know I've seen too much. The racing is done here at Iowa, but our broadcast is far from over. Don't go far. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will launch into the Lock Precision Rocketry post-race show, where we'll run down the finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and then put a lock on the gate. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series, round number 19 from Iowa. My goodness, as we launch into our Lock Precision Rocketry post-race show. And let me tell you a little bit about Lock Precision Rocketry. So we welcome back. This is the 5th year that the Lionheart IndyCar Series has come to Iowa, but for over 30 years, the name Lock Precision has been synonymous with mid to high-powered rocketry. Lock Precision manufactures a full line of high-powered, high-quality precision-fit components to meet your building, repairing, and customizing needs. For more information, visit lockprecision.com, and remember, fly hard, fly safe, fly lock. Sean, let's talk about the last laps that Jake Wright put in, and really it all comes down to Limkeman and Guerin coming out of the pits.
Yeah. I mean, they were faster. Obviously, the fresh tires. You see them there underneath Jake. They get by him, and this gets Jake up the track here. But they're going to get up to Kinsella. The same thing is going to happen. You see him there on the bottom side. They're going to blow by Kinsella on the bottom side. Kinsella's got George Gonzalo right there. And he's going to get by him. Gets caught in the middle, though. He has to get out of the throttle as they go by to avoid hitting the wall there. That slows him down. That brings in this run for Jake from the top side. Look at this. He gets that run off the top there, a 4. Able to power down. Out of 2. There's Showen just below. Kinsella's got a fight with the wake there of Showen's car getting by. And that just slows him down enough for Jake to get by, pull off that pass, and go on to win this race from out of nowhere. Like we said, from all the way downtown, he basically comes to pick that up. We thought it was done and dusted, and boy, that wasn't the case at all, was it, Sue?
No, that caught us by surprise. We're glad that our director had it on screen for you. My goodness, that was some exciting racing, and that's how you get yourself 2 champions up on the way to the 3rd, as Jake Wright is the winner, ahead of Andrew Kinsella, who could have tasted that checkered flag if a checkered flag had flavor. Brian Yosick in 3rd. Scott Johnson in 4th. Woody Mahan rounds out your top 5. Joe Branch, Bart Workman, David Altman. Boy, a quiet race for David Altman, coming home in 8th from 27th. Nice job. 35th to 7th for Workman as well. Bluen, Rory Collins rounds out your top 10.
And Soup, we go back to 11th, and it's James Garola. Had some trouble, but still salvages a top 11 finish there. 12th, going to go to Matthew Mercer. Mitchell Moeller, 13th. Soup, he started 23 spots back. That's a great run for Mitchell Moeller. He keeps it pretty much out of trouble. And 13th is a great night for him. 14th for George Gonzalo. What could have been 10 laps to go. The push is real, and it jumped out and bit him. Big Joe Hassard, another driver, tough luck there. He was on that alternate strategy that just came up short for those guys. 15th, 16th goes to Adam Blocker. Again, the same trouble for him. Dan Guerin falls victim to that strategy, 17th place. Brennan Limkeman, 18th, falls victim to strategy. Tony Showen, 19th. And Ron Hacker, 20th. All those drivers fall victim to that strategy, Soup. All they needed was 1 caution flag. They didn't get it.
They didn't. 1 caution flag. They would have been probably able to get the distance with a few laps under yellow. Hitting blackjack, it's Michael Goodman, Dustin Wardlow in the double duck spot, Jason Galvin, Jason Robarge, and Chris Lanini in 23rd, 24th, and 25th. The back half of that 10, Peter Edwins, Bob Mikas, Ed King Tutwiler, Christopher, Scott Bolster, and Vincent Bluthenthal. I'll just round these out, Sean. You can get ready for the incident there, for the interview. Dustin Weaver, Pierre Nightingale, Dave Whammy Barber, Jack Bogan, and Brian It's Not Easy Being Greenlee in 36th position. Okay, Sean, I guess we'll talk to you. Go ahead and talk to Jake Wright. Why don't you? Now I'll commiserate with Kinsella. Yeah,
Jake Wright. We just watched how you pulled that off. The seas, it seemed like the Red Sea kind of parted for you. What did it feel that easier? Or was that actually a lot of work taking that win away from second place there?
Honestly, I'm not really sure how I caught up like I did. I know Dan and Brandon definitely helped out, but even before that, I was catching up by a few tenths a lap. So I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but I thought I was going to be wrecked out of this race. I've been nervous all week. Iowa's one of the toughest tracks we come to and most unpredictable. And even early on, there was that one wreck out of 4 that I was almost in. So
Yeah.
I think I just got extremely lucky, and the strategy went the right way, and somehow I found myself up here in first.
Well, the racing gods were certainly with you this evening. I counted 3 incidents that were certifiable code browns, and it was just a crazy night for you. You never looked safe out there, and then somehow you come away and win this race. I said at the end when you come across the line that I quit. I'm done trying to figure out how you win these things. You just win them, man. Congratulations.
Thanks. This kind of seems like redemption from New Hampshire when I was leading towards the end and Kinsella got me on the restart, so I got my redemption tonight. But overall, it was a scary race, and I'm still kind of at a loss for words at how I was able to make it up here. I'm really surprised.
You know, when you're racing in tight quarters like this on these really, really fast, short tracks, and this certainly ranks up there with one of the fastest for the distance and size, do you get nervous? I mean, do you find yourself really on the edge of like just nervous breakdown getting around these tracks, at speed and with cars all over you like that?
The nervous breakdown happened before the green flag dropped. It's scarier when you're not racing, and under cautions it's scary, but when you're going whatever we were doing, like 180 around this place, the nerves are just kind of not there, and you just have to do what you do.
Okay, now one last thing here, and I warned everybody about this, but we never really saw it happen tonight. Everybody managed to get out of the pit lane okay. Now, nobody had to do it under a green flag condition, but I was really worried because I know in practice last night I was having an awful trick getting off a pit lane. Talk about that a little bit, how hard it is to control the car there as you come off the pit there in basically what the exit of turn 2 right there.
Something about this track, it doesn't matter what car you're in, it's always difficult to get off pit road, but when I came into practice on Monday, it took me at least 5 or 6 tries until I didn't spin getting off of pit road and just could get on the track for some laps. But the trick is just go slow and make sure you don't wreck, because usually if you can just keep the car straight and slow, you're usually faster than everybody else on exit that tries to push it and has to save it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's always fun watching you win. Tonight, you did it with a little bit of flair, buddy. You get some style points for this one, and I know that won't show up in the actual points championship, but you hold on to your lead, and we're coming out of the close of the season here. This has been a tough fight for you. It's not over yet, buddy. You still got to go out there and run these races, and it probably wouldn't hurt to pick up a couple of more wins before we're done.
Yeah, that would be nice. We have, I want to say, 2 road courses left and a few ovals. I think we go to Chicago next week, which it's been a while since we've done a half mile, so that should be fun. And I don't know, it's been, Dan and I have been finishing pretty close to each other these past 5 or 6 races, so it's getting tight, and it's definitely exciting.
Well, buddy, we will see you next time. Go celebrate this one. Enjoy this one. You certainly earned it, and well, it's always good to see good guys win. So thanks, Jake, and we'll see you down the road, bud.
Thank you. See you at Chicago.
All right, and next stop for Jake. Next stop to try and find a little dominance is Chicagoland. Let's talk to, the guy who kind of lost out there at the end. Soup, you've got Andrew Kinsella.
Andrew, with 4 laps to go, you had a half a straightaway lead. One of the commentators was getting into his Bagger Vance spiel about the pure race inside all of us, and the next thing we know, we look up, he's ran you down. My gosh, how did that happen?
The lap cars decided to not cooperate with me at the end. Plain and simple, there was a car that had some damage, I think, that was running the middle lane, so I had to slow down to get under him, and then as soon as that happened, some of the guys on new tires decided that it would be fun to go 3 wide, and that was about it. I couldn't get my momentum back after that, and Jake was able to run me down because his momentum didn't get disturbed there.
Yeah, we've seen this time and time again where drivers would make an attempt at a pass, it would fail, in fact, and then they'd lose 2 or 3 positions because the guys behind them. Did you know let's go back to, were you comfortable? Were you confident on that last pit stop that you made that you were in good position, that the guys in front of you were going to have to stop if it went green?
Yeah, I knew that I was good to go. I knew that as long as it went green, that my strategy was going to work. I raced fairly hard for the first 15 laps, 20 laps of that stint to get up in amongst the guys, just in case we did get another yellow.
Right.
So it gave me a chance to win on both strategies, really. I felt that we had the strongest car, and we were able to make passes where a lot of people weren't able to for most of the day. So it's really disappointing to lose it in the last 2 laps there.
Yep, slow traffic and fast traffic, both playing a part in this one. Well, it came close. It was exciting. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, and I'd like to thank PlastiDipGarage.com. Again, so grateful for them to be on board, and thanks to Adrenaline Motorsports. Tony and Adam were just on the wrong strategy there, but they were running a heck of a race, and Joe, I think, got 6th. And shout out to fellow PlastiDipGarage.com, Woody Mahan. I believe he got his first top 5, so congrats to him as well.
There you go. Plastic Dick guys are on a roll. All right, there's your second place finisher. All right, Sean, who are we looking at here?
Brian, put it out, Yazik. Boy, it's never gets old talking to you, man. It seems like we've been doing this a lot here lately. What a run for you tonight.
Yeah, well, plus when I'm up here talking to you guys, I had a good finish, so that's always a good thing. But yeah, that was an interesting race. I didn't really approach it super aggressive because I kind of know how Iowa is. It's one of my favorite tracks on the whole service, so that's always nice when you kind of go back to a place that you like to be at. But we just kind of ran a not really super aggressive, not really super conservative. You know, that caution came out with 52 to go, and we knew what we wanted to do, and brought this HPP simulation machine back in a third place finish. Finally, another good finish. I'll take one of those.
Brian, did anybody sense that green flag was coming, that green flag run was coming after the way that basically the first half of this race went?
Well, you know, when you've been around stuff as long as I have, you know, you get a feeling and you kind of have a hunch. And, you know, when you burn through a whole lot of cautions like that at the first part of the race, you know, common sense says that by law of average, you are going to be in for a long green flag run after that, because we can get through here just fine. It just seemed like the bump in turn 1 wasn't real happy on like the first couple laps, and that kind of upset guys. But once we kind of got over that and everybody kind of settled into a rhythm, it was a really, really straightforward and really simple race from that point. So I'm kind of mad at myself, though, because there was at one point I got ahead of Jake because we were trying to pass George, and I tried to get aggressive and pass George, and Jake passed me back. And as we were on the cool down lap, I said, "Hey, congrats, Jake, son of a," and then there's a couple words I couldn't say after that. But really happy for my teammate, No Name Racing, everybody getting up there and having a solid finish.
Well, man, I'll tell you what, you've had a lot of solid finishes here lately, not just here in the Lionheart IndyCar series, but over in the Premier Racing League. And what makes you so fast, man? Is it really the pedals? Is it those HPP pedals?
Having a good set of HPP pedals from HPPsimulation.com, it certainly doesn't hurt. I don't know where, it's that age-old question, where does speed come from, or where does it all come from? When I settle out into a race, and I was talking to the guys under caution about this, that I haven't won yet because I'm not aggressive from the drop of the green flag, which is more of my stock car background. You really take a long time to settle in, and then you're there at the end of the race. And there's a lot of times here in the Lionheart series that's kind of really whooped me. But, it's really simple. I just kind of aim for the top 5. And as the race unfolds, I kind of figure out the ways that I want to get to that point. We had a top 5 at Mid-Ohio, then my knee started acting up, and that wasn't fun, trying to run a road course with a knee that's screaming at you. But then that's just kind of how it is. You just settle into a rhythm and a groove. And I don't know. I don't really have a great way to explain it other than it's a whole different mindset and a whole different mentality of how do you approach events and races. It's kind of like the old adage in racing. To finish first, you must first finish, and that's kind of how I approach every single race the exact same way. I know if I got to win or if I'm gonna have a good finish, I got to be there at the end. And going 3 wide on lap 4, that doesn't get me there. But that's what we're gonna try. We got Chicagoland next week, pretty good there. I like that joint, and Road America. I'm actually looking forward to that one too. A couple of good places here at the end of the season. We might be able to rack off a win before it's all closed out.
All right, one last question, Brian. I'm going to let you go. What was the last part you changed on a car?
I know exactly what you're saying. The last part I changed on a car that I actually did, I had a Focus that never really required anything. So I'm going to say it was a tire.
Geez, that was the same for me. So you and I our rapper names are Little Tire.
Yeah, buddy, Little Tire.
So,
and we got our little lug nuts. That could be the fans. That could be our groupies, the lug nuts. I like this. We got to go with this, Sean.
We've got something working there, Brian. I'll get back to you on that later. Hey, congratulations again. We'll see you next week, buddy.
Hey, take it easy, man.
Soup, that was Brian Yazik, Mr. Brian Yazik himself, GSRC's own Brian Yazik, who can sometimes, once in a blue moon, be heard right here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
Always a pleasure when that happens as well. All right, well, that'll do it for us, but hang in here for a minute because these are the people who pay the bills. A source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area, very close to Iowa Speedway for years, has been the First Medical Equipment guys, thanks to their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. For more information, please visit www.firstmedequipment.com. Also, how about a thanks to, you heard our last interviewer talk about it, and that is nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standards for simulation racing. For more information, please visit www.hppsimulation.com. I'm going to do that because I'm still racing on like a Maggie Simpson wheel, so I think that'll help me if I upgrade a little bit. Sean?
Soup, we want to thank Von Hansen's Meat Market for sponsoring the Countdown to Green, the new old-fashioned meat market and butcher shop. We also want to thank Lock Precision Rocketry for sponsoring the post-race shows Fly Hard, Fly Safe, Fly Lock.
And I watched some of their videos. They can put cameras in those things.
Yes,
really
they
cool.
can.
Oh, man, it's
and
good stuff.
You don't want to miss the view. I think they've got some stuff on YouTube. Just put in Lock Precision Rocketry there in YouTube. I'm sure you'll find something. Thanks to everyone at the Lionheart IndyCar Series for organizing the series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We also want to thank today's race sponsor, Tom Birkenstock, over there at Berkey Trucking. The Berkey Trucking 125 is now in the books, Soup.
Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast, and the original music you heard today is thanks to Eric Echolm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact them.
All right, Super, we don't have a break next week. We have the Lionheart IndyCar Series returning on October 18th from Chicagoland Speedway. Chicago, my kind of town. For the Von Hansen's 200, GSRC will be there, and we hope you join us to find out more information about the Global Sim Racing Channel. Your best bet is globalsimracingchannel.com. That's right, folks, all one word, Global Sim Racing Channel. That's how you find us on Facebook, too, or find us on Twitter at GSR Channel. Lots going on there, too.
Finally, on behalf of the man you just heard, Sean Crackers Ambrose, our director Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, we'd like to thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this cliche-free broadcast. That was hard to say. I think I'm going through withdrawals right now. I got the shakes from not being able to use any cliches. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.